every time. There we go.
All right. So Prince Edward Point Bird Observatory Spring Birding Festival. This year our theme is Birding in Nature World for Everybody. The dates of the festival are Friday, May 9th to Sunday, May 11th from approximately sunrise to 2 p.m. and the location is Prince Edward Point Bird Observatory. And the Bird Observatory is an organization that studies and monitors birds. We're involved in research, advocacy, and education. And this year we're going to be celebrating our 30th anniversary. So if you haven't been here before, Peppo is located in the Prince Edward Point National Wildlife Area at the southeast point of Prince Edward County. And the geographic location and diversity of habitats at the PEP National Wildlife Area causes a huge number of migratory passerines to concentrate at the tip of the peninsula. Not sure if you can see my mouse here, but over in this area. And in addition to the large number of passerines, we also have a large number of raptors that pass through during spring and fall migration. There is no other location on the Canadian side of Lake Ontario where birds are known to concentrate in such high densities during migration. So we've got a really special spot. Approximately 300 bird species have been recorded at the point. And in 1998, Prince Edward Point was designated as part of the Prince Edward County South Shore Important Bird Area. If you do come and visit the point, there are several trails that you can explore. All of them are like the designated trails are packed gravel, so they're quite accessible. And if you do visit during May and are interested in guided walks, we do have many guided walks during the festival. Some of them are also held on other weekends in May. The main trails that we hold these walks on are the Lighthouse Trail. These guided walks cover a 1.2 kilometer sort of one-way out and back trail. It's packed gravel road and passes through forest, marsh, old orchards, and goes out to the coastline habitat on Lake Ontario. There's also the Traverse Woods guided walks. This is it can vary, but it's at least a 1 kilometer loop, depending how many times you go through it. It's also packed gravel and forest habitat. It's got lower canopy, so it's an excellent spot for viewing warblers close up. And we also hold like a sit-in spot if you're looking to give your legs a little break. The guided walks are generally limited to about 15 people, and tickets can be purchased online in advance. They're not open yet, but will be open in early April on our website. And to get everybody more excited for spring, if you do come in May, you'll be in for a treat with a number of birds and the variety that we have. Last May, we had 175 species of birds observed within the National Wildlife Area. And I've included some photos here of some of the ones that were most exciting last spring. So I can give you a second if anyone wants to brush off their ID skills. But at the top here, we've got a black vulture, we've got a worm-eating warbler, and a cerulean warbler. So all very fun to see. And for those who come out during the festival and are looking for something a little bit different, we're also going to be offering something for members only. These are going to be sort of behind the scenes walks where you get to join the bird banders for the net setup. Since these net lanes are usually closed to the public while the nets are open, this is kind of a unique experience. And if this is something that interests you, you may be interested in becoming a member. You can do that through any donation of $30 or more, and you get advance notice of everything for the festival. Now, most of the events as part of the festival are free to attend, and our tent talks are some of the most popular events that we offer. We've got local and some not so local experts on certain topics that'll provide presentations, answer questions, and generally share their knowledge and passion. The topics vary greatly. This year, we've got individuals that will be speaking on the breeding bird atlas in Ontario, native plants and birds, moths, and many more. The full schedule will also be available on the PEPA webpage in early April. New this year, we're going to be offering some workshops. These will also be by advance registration and by donation. These are going to include things like nature journaling, on making windows bird safe, and on warbler identification. And you're at a bird banding lab if you come visit. So we will, of course, have demonstrations on the process of bird banding. Visitors can learn how Peppo catches, collects information on birds while ensuring their safety, where our data goes, where the research goes, and have the privilege of seeing some of these migrants close up. And as Peppo is the only banding station that's open to the public in Southeast Ontario, this is a real treat if you're around. And this bird banding will happen from around sunrise until about noon. Also, again, just to continue getting everyone excited for spring, in 2024, Peppo banded 4,323 birds in our spring season, and those were of 86 species. And here's a little rainbow of warblers that were banded last spring. So again, things we can look forward to. This is an event for the whole family. So we do have activities for people of all ages. We've got some kids activities, including things like crafts and educational activities. These will be going on all morning as well until around 1 p.m. and are free to attend. As improving the accessibility of birding is an important effort for the festival, we also have free equipment rentals such as walking sticks, portable stools, and for everyone, binoculars if you don't have your own or your family members that you bring it with you don't have their own, for example. We'll also be selling merchandise such as hats and even our own triple certified bird friendly organic fair trade coffee available for purchase. Um, we host a raffle and also have voting on a t-shirt design contest. And if you are an artist and wish to submit your design for this year's contest, you can keep an eye on our social media or website over the next couple weeks for instructions on how to submit your design. And we have food and coffee. So things that everyone's looking for in the morning after you wake up early to go birding. If you do make it out here, we do also encourage you to check out some of the other birding hotspots in the county, of which there are many. So lots of other great places to go birding if you get tired of looking at all the warblers at the point. And then if you do wanna give your feet a little break after a long day of birding, you can, of course, visit one of the many local wineries or cideries in the county or one of the delicious local restaurants. For more information about activities and places to stay, you can check out visitthecounty.com. If you're not able to visit Prince Edward County during the Spring Birding Festival, we know May is a busy time. We also encourage you to come out and visit any other time. Our banding station is open to the public mornings from April 10th through May 31st, and then again for fall migration, August 15th to October 31st. We band Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, every day of the week, weather permitting. And if you do visit in August or in early September, you may be lucky enough to encounter a bobolink. We have a special ongoing long-term study of this species. They're especially cool to see up close. And then outside of our regular banding, we do have some other events that you can also keep in mind. In June, we have our annual general meeting. We also run a youth ornithology career orientation course called YOCO. So there's 5 camps throughout the spring, summer, fall for youth aged 13 to 16, and applications are open. So if you or anyone you know might be interested, you can definitely check that out. We also host public owl nights by registration online in October. The owl nights are in person. And then there's an online auction that we host in November. So thank you very much for listening. And if you do have questions, happy to answer them. But if you haven't been out already, we hope to see you there, whether during the festival or another time.
Thank you, Mira. Oh, I want to go. Does anybody have questions? I put I put the website in the chat, but I didn't think I had to put the dates in the chat. Let's do that right now. Maybe. What were the dates again, Mira, for the birding
I can
festival?
type them in May 9th through
Yeah,
11th.
sure, do that.
There.
Yeah. So it's just basically a weekend, eh?
Yeah, like a long weekend. But yeah, we do have walks going on the other Saturdays in May as well, if people are interested.
Yeah. My parents spent about a year living in Cherry Valley, and it is beautiful countryside, beautiful, lots of, yeah, lots of birding, lots of nice places to stay and nice places to eat and shop, and um, good place to visit.
Mhm.
Well,
Uh,
somebody's got their TV running.
I see a question about if we've ever done nano tagging or geotagging. We hope to be able to do or do some projects using MODIS tags in the future, but they're pricey projects. So these are things that we have to fundraise for, as each little tag costs several $100s. So um, it's it's something that we hope to do and hope to be able to contribute to more research using that. But yeah, as I mentioned, we're a charity organization, so every dollar counts, and that's something that we're definitely hoping to fund in the future.
So everybody go there, buy a T-shirt,
We'd
drink
love
some
that.
bird-friendly coffee. Drink some bird-friendly coffee. Thanks so much, Mira.
Thank you.
I guess if there's no questions or if you think of something you wanted to know, put it in the chat. But I'm going to move on to Nora. So, where is Nora? I know you're here somewhere. There she is. Maybe? Nora, you're still muted, I think.
That's probably just fine. I'm trying to make sure I get the right slideshow.
Okay, that's fine. And I don't know if I asked you for a bio or anything, but I'll let you introduce yourself, except I will say that Nora Toth is presenting on behalf of the Huron Fringe Birding Festival. And that is sort of near Owen Sound on Lake Ontario, not Ontario, Lake
Oh
Huron,
dear.
obviously, Huron Fringe. There you go. And your slides look good. You're all set.
Okay. Well, my name's Nora Toth, and I'd like to introduce you to the Huron Fringe Birding Festival. I know some people from OFO have attended in the past, and maybe this is new information for many of you. Um, I'm the chair of an extremely busy volunteer festival committee. The festival runs for 8 days, and it runs annually, and it's the first 2 weekends after Victoria Day. We know that along the Huron Fringe, which is a small sliver of land, I guess, in comparison to many, of land along the Lake Huron shoreline, that toward the end of May, it's an ideal time to see and hear the greatest number of species of both migrants and nesting birds along in Ontario, or in this part of Ontario. McGregor Point Provincial Park, which is near Port Elgin, could hardly be a better location for the headquarters of our festival. That's where we work out of. We're located on Lake Huron. The park's shoreline, woods, and wetlands provide an abundance of habitats for birds. The Huron Fringe extends intermittently from Port Franks area in the south to the tip of the Saugeen Bruce Peninsula, or almost to the tip. The peninsula provides a concentrated funnel for migrating birds, winging their way to nesting destinations. And that's similar to what we see at Point Pelee, where, Point Pelee itself funnels birds north. Um, the, we're really different to Myra, so I feel a little bit, but we do raise money for charity, so I guess we're okay. But our festival takes advantage of the end of migration and the fact that many species remain to call on territory. In fact, the Breeding Bird Atlas results to date show that Bruce County has the highest number of breeding bird species in all of South and Central Ontario. At the festival, we have seen a total of 252 species, and they've been recorded during our festival. And the festival that's 26 years of the festival. This year will be number 27, including exciting finds. And we've had these birds that have been seen through the years: a golden eagle last year, Swainson's hawk, western kingbird, Kirtland's warbler, and glossy ibis. Oh, and I forgot to change slides. Oh, that doesn't help me. Well, I guess it does. The festival attracts top leaders from across the province and from our own backyard. Their credentials range from career ornithologists, professional tour leaders, academics, educators, big ear birders, and this is a really young picture of Kaya Jasper, and those who have had a lifelong hobby and citizen scientist interest in birds. I think you'd be really impressed with their rich backgrounds and their vast expertise. And our leaders take you to local and regional hotspots, to every bird and botany-rich corner of Bruce County. So we're not just birds, including destinations through the world-famous Soggy Bruce Peninsula. McGregor Point itself has 6 kilometers of Lake Huron shoreline and is home to many species. Guided hikes, bird banding, a nature showcase, and presentations in the visitor center are our primary activities, though, within the park. Outside the park, we have car caravans, nature hikes, guided hikes, and they'll take you further afield in Bruce County. Our trips range from half a day, morning or afternoon, and to all-day trips. Some of our events are so popular that we continue to offer them every year. And some of the favorites are the Tower Trail at McGregor, which actually is why we started a festival there in the park. The Tower Trail is a wonderful spot for observing warblers. The Kincardine Lagoons, which we call the Peely North, the Bluebird Trail, and for the bird obsessed, the Big Day, which Kaya does lead for us, where you will find, bird from dawn to dusk, or in some cases until you drop. We're later than some other festivals, and because of that, you'll have good views of upland sandpipers, eastern meadowlark, and bobolink on territory. And these birds are not reliably seen during migration. And then, of course, there's the jewels of the forest, the warblers. And some of them are still migrating through when we have our festivals, such as Cape May, Palm, and Blackburnian. They're on their way up to Ciangi, I guess. And while others nest on the Huron fringe, yellow, black, and white, and our mascot, the abundant American redstart. And of course, excitement always occurs when people report sightings of golden-winged or blue-winged warblers, which are regular nesters at McGregor Point and in Bruce County. The fact that marsh and colonial birds have settled in should also be considered a bonus. Colonial nesting birds can be seen when visiting both the Fishing Islands archipelago, as they're doing here in this picture, or Chantry Island. And for marsh birds, visit to some of our inland lakes and their surrounding wetland habitats may turn up marsh wren and sora and Virginia rail. But we can't just boast about our birds. We can also boast about the botany of the Bruce. Our leaders have one of the most botanically rich areas of Ontario to lead you through. From fens to alvars, ferns to wildflowers, tiny sedges to dramatic cliff edges, there's no shortage of botanical wonders to be found throughout the areas we visit. You may see Great Lake endemics like the Lakeside Daisy in the upper right, Dwarf Lake Iris in the lower right. I hope that's right for you. And some of the over 51 orchid species found in Bruce and Grey counties. Of course, our meals together are always special, whether they're the noon hour barbecues put on by the Friends of McGregor or the Birders Banquet where we have a keynote speaker. This year, our keynote speaker is Julia Zarankin, and her topic, How Birding Makes Us Better People. Should be good. We look forward to Julia showing us how to see the world with wonder. The Birders Banquet is also a time when we recognize those who've contributed greatly to birding in Bruce County and Grey County, and to the Huron Fringe Birding Festival itself. In 2015, or 25, so this year, the recipient of the Nora Toth Award will be Stuart Nutt. And Stuart was the first piping plover champion and coordinator of volunteers at Sauble Beach. And to adhere to our commitment to make the Huron Fringe Birding Festival safe for both birds and people, we've adopted the OFO Code of Ethics and adhere to the OFO Code of Conduct. We also help to reduce our environmental impact by limiting the number of attendees on events. So maximum is usually 20, and botany tends to be about 12. We also help to, we also make our birding more accessible to everybody. It's hard on trails, but we do have a Birding 101 for new birders and a big sit for people who just aren't as mobile. The festival operates as a committee of the Friends of McGregor Point, and McGregor Point is a provincial park, as I said, and our profits are invested into McGregor Point Provincial Park through the Friends. Our feedback from our attendees has always been very positive, and some people have been coming annually since we began. So this for 26 years to date. In fact, we feel we're more popular than ever and continue to offer over 80 events over the 8 days of the festival. It's a big job to put the program together. I recommend that you review the website well in advance, set up an account, and be prepared for registration on March 14th at 6 a.m. That's just 8 days from now. Is the beginning of our registration, and it's always very popular, and many of the events fill very quickly. I hope you'll find events that pique your interest. And Angie said she was squeezing me in, so I made it short and brief.
Thank you so much, Nora. Oh, and you know what? I just kind of noticed that you can actually go to Prince Edward Point first, and then you could go to Huron Fringe after. You could do it.
That
People
works.
could do both. I want to do it all. Wow, thank you so much. Does anybody have questions for Nora about this event? Yes, no, maybe. If you think of anything, stick it in the chat.
I do have lots of brochures if anybody is interested in me sending them a bunch their way. The program is all online, so
they can contact you online or contact me at OFO, and I can relay the message to Nora.
Sure.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to jump over to Bruce now. So we were over Prince Edward Point, kind of outside of over there, past Kingston, Belleville area. And then we went over the other lake over there, Huron. And now we're going to go up north a little bit, but northeast. Bruce, I'm looking for you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. I'm just, before I get started here, I don't have a nice slideshow here, but I just can't believe Nora and her gang do 80 events. That's absolutely phenomenal. And the timing of the warblers and everything going through Hillington Marsh is about the same time. But I also want to mention and also they have the Bruce Peninsula Bird Observatory, which is like an awesome spot for people to go. But Mira, like we have a really interesting connection with Prince Edward Point Bird Observatory, where we've had some volunteers that have come to the marsh that go down there, and it's like, so it's almost like it seems kind of odd. It's not like I guess the thing I've been thinking about is that birders just have so little time to spread themselves so thin. Like, where would you go? Like, I'd want to go to every place. It's like, and
You want to go everywhere. Bruce, I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is intentional or not. We can't see you. And that may
Okay.
be because you just didn't want to be on camera.
Yeah, I just
But I thought
because you folks said at the beginning to leave the video off. So
oh, if you're not presenting.
oh, okay. Well, I can put the video on just to
But it
scare
seems to be working pretty good. I'm not too worried about the Zoom link right now. It seems to
Okay.
be.
I'll see if I can start it up. No,
I'm
notice
not trying to put you on the spot there.
Is it working?
Not yet.
Nope.
Nope.
No luck.
Okay, then I guess
Okay.
everybody will go into radio mode here.
Okay.
And we'll listen.
So we are a non-for-profit organization. We don't have, we only have one paid staff. So we are basically volunteer, and our paid staff person is our clerical person that keeps the everybody at the CRA happy with us. So that's our extent of our staff. So we are dependent on volunteers. So I'm just going to go through a list of events that we have coming up, which is what Angie asked me to talk about. So during March break, so I just sort of caught a little bit when I came in after getting my tractor unstuck, that people were talking about red poles and pine grosbeaks. And we have quite a few evening grosbeaks. We have lots of snow buntings up here. So if anyone is interested in seeing us band some of those species, we're open during March break on the 10th, 11th, and 15th of March. So we'd love to see people. The Ontario Bird Banding Association meeting is March 29th, so we'll be away that weekend. And then our big time for banding in the spring. That's interesting seeing that the folks at Prince Edward Point start about 2 weeks earlier than we do. We start May 1st and go to about June the 12th. We have a interesting day. We're going to do a seedy Saturday, May 3rd, where people exchange seeds. Our migratory bird day is a little bit later because the warblers and thrush and vireos come through a little bit later. So we celebrate migratory bird day May 24th. We're doing a OFO trip, which we call Wetlands and Warblers, on May 25th. And the fall migration for us starts August 1st to September 5th, which is like a amazing time to see birds coming through. We have an event, which is our biggest event of the summer. We call it the Hummingbird Garden Party, which we're kind of torn. We also want to call it the Pollinator Picnic, which is August 16th. So people can come up to see all of the warblers and as well see us banding hummingbirds, which is always pretty cool. The other thing, it was interesting to see that picture of Kaya Jasper. when he and Alessandra were here about 2 weeks ago. We were banding snow buntings and we caught a shrike. And then all of a sudden, Kaya looks up because about a week, maybe 10 days earlier, there was a gyrfalcon seen in the area. So they camped out at a silo where there's lots of pigeons and where the gyrfalcon had been spotted. And when we were showing them the the shrike that we caught, all of a sudden Kaya goes, "Jeer!" So the Jeer Falcon went, and it's right where Joanne teaches at her school at Currents Public. So the Jeer Falcon zipped right by, and they got a picture of it on a hydro pole, which was just like incredible. So anyway, I was talking with Alessandra and Kaya about the potential for the marsh hosting the OFO Young Ornithology Camp. So we're super pumped about that. And I haven't had conversations past those two talking about it, but there's potential, and we have a lot of biodiversity stuff that would be really cool. So we're looking forward to that. And then when in early September, we start catching pipits, Vesper sparrows, and Savannah sparrows. So that could be something neat for people to see. The OFO Northern Convention is Friday, September 19th to the 21st. So we're totally pumped about that. We did it for the first year. Angie talked me into doing it a second year in a row. So we're excited because folks had a great time. And the other thing that we're always excited about is, and which is kind of a moving target, is our owl banding in September and October. So we used to start about September 7th is when we started catching saw-whets, but that date seems to be moving back further and further. So last year we started banding saw-whets about the 18th, because it's just the temperatures are so warm in the fall now that our saw-whet banding seems to be pushing back further and further. So they move on cold fronts. So when the temperature is too warm, we just, there's not really any point in even trying. Last year we had a record setting year. We caught over 300 boreal owls, which was off the charts. So we're super curious what's going to happen. And people, I'm sure folks in Southern Ontario have been getting lots of great grays. We've had quite a few around, but they, I think most of them are slipping through and people are seeing them in the south. So, and that's about it for the March. So if people are interested, we on our website, we have a email that people can get in touch with us. But again, a big shout out to Nora and Mira on the great work that you're doing, and thanks everyone with the OFO to all the great work you're doing promoting birding in the north. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bruce. I put the dates of some of these things in the chat, but I might have got the Hummingbird Garden Party wrong. Was it August 16?
Yeah, that's the Saturday. Perfect.
It's Saturday. I got it. Awesome. Does anybody have questions about any of these activities or the Hilliardton Marsh in general? It's a beautiful place to visit if you don't mind a bit of a drive from, well, it's closer for me, but
Oh, and then
oh,
the one last thing I'd mention is the rosy finch is still in Matachewan. It was seen yesterday.
Yes.
So if people want to come up to see the rosy finch and then come by and see us doing the banding. Oh, the other thing I should mention, kind of a cool thing, is that we connected with a group called the, I'm trying to remember it. It's the Finch Research Network. And we've been attempting to catch evening grosbeaks because their population has declined by about 90% since 1970. So we've been trying to catch evening grosbeaks at the marsh. So if people wanted to come up, see that rosy finch in Matachewan and slide by and potentially get some evening grosbeaks. And I was talking with Tyler Hoare recently, and this is what the part that I caught at the, just when I tuned in, is that the red poles seem to be moving from around the Kenora area into our area just recently. So there's potential if people want to make a trek all the way up here, they might be able to see the rosy finch in Matachewan and come by and see some red poles and evening grosbeak's bandit at the marsh.
Yeah, I was saying as we were kind of getting started earlier this evening that I've got about 100 red poles at my feeder every day. Maybe I should get some nets or something.
And when did they show up, Angie? Just like in the last week?
No, they've been here all winter.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but they were crazy this morning because we're having a snowstorm, so of course they're all here.
Yeah, we've hardly seen any, but we've banded about 1,000 snow buntings, which is really good for this time of year. And so it's and today was all rain, which is why I got my tractor stuck. So anyway.
It's raining.
So just reach out to our website with our email if anyone wants more info on what we're doing at the marsh.
I will say the convention, we had it there last year, as Bruce said, and we're going to do it again this year because at the end of the convention, I asked everybody, where would we like to have it next year? I was going to have it in Sudbury. And everybody said, no, do it again at Hilliardton. It was so much fun. And the banding and the birds. Now, we had warm weather, but you did catch a lot of owls that weekend. So I don't know.
Awesome.
Anyways,
thanks, Angie.
Thank you, Bruce. And I'm going to turn things over in a second here to Rachel. She's logged in. Rachel Zacharias Benzenson lives at the southern edge of the boreal forest near Anemki-Waju Thunder Mountain on the ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe of Fort William First Nation. So that's Thunder Bay area for people who don't know. She is the education coordinator at Lakehead Region Conservation Authority in Thunder Bay and is honored to learn with people of all ages and build kinship and stewardship connections with the Lakehead watershed that cares for us. Of all the beings she teaches with, birds are her favorite, and she loves sharing her enthusiasm for all things feathered with anyone who will listen. So, Rachel, and there's your screen. Now you might be muted.
How's that?
There you are. Okay.
Good evening. Hi, Angie. Thank you for having me at this very exciting. I'm looking out my window at piles and piles of ice and snow, and it's just so exciting to be talking about birds that are coming back. In my neighborhood, I just saw our first neighborhood merlin return. So I know spring is somewhere out there. It's not here today, but it is somewhere out there. I'm very pleased to be here this evening and tell you all about the Dorian Birding Festival, which is our bird festival that happens in Northwestern Ontario. So this year it is Saturday, May the 24th and Sunday, May the 25th. And I work for the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority, as Angie said, and we have been running the Birding Festival since 2019. And let's see if I can advance this. Aha. But we haven't always run it. Let me tell you the magical story of how this bird festival got off the ground. There are 6 people in a very tiny municipality of 100 people called Dorian, which is about an hour's drive north and east along the shore of Lake Superior. And they decided that they'd like to run a festival about birds. And they, through the power of donations and volunteering and pulling together as a community, have run an amazing birding festival, super popular in the area, for 11 years before they passed it on to the LRCA. So here we are looking at the Great Lakes watershed. Thunder Bay and Dorian are right up in the top left-hand corner there. This is where all the magic happens. If you're a migrating bird and you're coming up from the south along the Great Lakes Flyway, you're going to hit Lake Superior's south shore and you're going to bend around the lake. We get some birds coming across Lake Superior, if you can believe it. But so spring migration is actually smaller for us than fall migration, which is when everyone is coming the other way and everyone hits the North Shore of Lake Superior at the same time. So come in the fall too, but our festival happens to be in the spring. And if you come to the Dorian Birding Festival, you will cover a lot of ground. And we do it all together. And we start at Lakehead Region Conservation Authority property called Hercott Cove Conservation Area. That's over on the right-hand side. And we literally comb this area of the beautiful Lake Superior shoreline. And it is covered in habitats that are varied. And so we get quite a lot of birds on our travels. We do this in small groups with expert guides, but we also do this in 2 big buses. So we limit the number of people who can attend the Dorian Birding Festival to just about 100 so that we fit into 2 school buses, the Bluebird school bus and the Robin school bus. So when you register with us, you will be assigned a bird, and then you know which bus you're going to be in for the day. Here's everyone who was a part of the 2023 Birding Festival. Quite a beautiful and sunny day. So while you're all grabbing pen and paper to write down May 24th and 25th, figure out how to get to Thunder Bay, I thought I'd let you in on a little morning tradition of the opening of the Dorian Birding Festival. Hercott Cove Conservation Area parking lot is right on the shore, and it faces east. And you arrive in the dark, and as you are gathering, the sun is coming up. And there are so many memories I have of that first opening of the festival in the golden light of sunrise. So now you have May 24th and 25th written down, and you're thinking about how magical it would be to take in that sunrise. Let me show you where you will be. So Hercott Cove, this is an aerial view, is right at the mouth of the Wolf River. So we have sand spits and marshes. We have, of course, open water habitat from Lake Superior at Black Bay. And we have inner water, Cranberry Bay, nice and shallow, lots of fish and invertebrates in there. So we have lots and lots of waterfowl and shorebirds in this area too. So we start at the conservation area, then we drive around to the dock, which is on the other side for better viewing. And then we drive a little bit inland into Weemet Canyon Provincial Park. And Weemet Canyon is a magical place of really interesting subarctic plants that are found at the bottom of the canyon. You get out of the bus, you walk for about 7 minutes onto a platform, and you get to look into the canyon for this very special species for us. If you can see this tiny bird at the center of the picture, peregrine falcon. So we are lucky enough to have Brian Ratcliffe, who is a peregrine falcon champion and was instrumental in his career to bring the falcon back to these habitats in northwestern Ontario. So we are always looking at every festival to see if we have a nesting pair setting up at the canyon. It's always exciting for us. And of course, along the way, we have farmers' fields, we have bird conservation enthusiasts who carry on feeders and have nesting boxes, and we make sure we hit all of those stops along the way as we're traveling from location to location. So that's the Saturday. On Sunday, it's a different location. Everyone meets at the Eagle's Nest Conference Center, which is just south of the conservation area. Beautiful property with lots of different habitats. And this day is not a driving day. So this is not a busing day. Everyone meets at the conference center, and it's a choose your own adventure. The expert guides set up for a short walk, a medium walk, and a big walk, and you can choose the one you'd like to go on. Always exciting to see just a little bit down the shore how different the bird populations are. So Sunday is also an exciting day. And so I thought I'd show you some birders from the festival in their natural habitats. You know, here's someone at the marsh, and a little flock of them here with the scopes set up, and walking some edge habitat at the conference center. This is one of our expert guides. His name is Rob Swainson, and his sense of humor is legendary. So when you come to the Dorian Birding Festival, you will remember Rob Swainson forever. He keeps us laughing for sure, and is super knowledgeable about birding, and is super passionate about introducing new people to birding. So if you would like an introduction to birding, this is also a festival that you are more than welcome at. Here we have Nick Escott, Dr. Nick Escott, who ran the Breeding Bird Atlas program here in the Northwest for many years, one of our expert birders as well. And some more birders in their habitat, checking out the sandspit that we saw piping plover at a couple of years ago at the birding festival. That was a little surprise for us. So bird counts, we have on average probably about 115 every festival, give or take, depending on the weather. As you can see, in 2023, we had 106. And I thought for the last part of this little presentation, I'd turn it over to the birds. I'm going to show you a bunch of photographs that Ryan Mackett, our communications manager, took at festivals over the last few years. And they're going to let you know the take-home messages. At the Dorian Birding Festival, we welcome all skill levels. If you don't have binoculars, you can borrow some of ours. We bring the class set that we have from our education program. And because we have expert guides who have been career ornithologists, even if your skill level is high, you will still have a way to grow your knowledge and grow your experience by rubbing shoulders with the folks that we have here. Super grateful for their volunteering. So you can come for the birds, and as this siskin says, stay for the food. The caterers that Dorian uses are just amazing. The food is spectacular, and included in your ticket price is all the food you'll need. So you just need to show up with your binoculars and any water bottle or weather gear, and we'll take care of the rest for you. One of the fun things I learned when I started going to the Dorian Festival was rubbing shoulders with an expert guide who was keen about identifying birds by sound. So I'll always remember how she taught me. We were listening to chestnut-sided warbler, and she always thinks this little bird says, nice, nice, nice to meet ya. Here are some questions that I've asked and had answered at the Dorring Birding Festival. I really appreciate being around expert guides, and birding in Thunder Bay, we tend to bird in very small little friend groups, and it's this festival where we all gather together, where we all tell our birding stories from across the year, and it's pretty magical. I like to say about the Dorrian Birding Festival, we might not be big, but we're small, in the immortal words of Stuart McLean. There's benefits to being small, and part of it is the friendly, informal fun that we have together and the good learning environment of the expert to participant ratio of 1 to 10 is what we try and keep it at. So how do you get to Thunder Bay so far? You can take, if you're not an American white pelican, 2 beautiful days by car up along the north shore of Lake Superior. You'll never regret it. Or you can hop on a plane. 2 short hours will get you to the shores of Lake Superior. You can find us at lakeheadca.com. So that's Lakehead and then conservationauthority.com. And this is what you'll see when you get there. We have 3 tabs. One of them is events. And under events is already a save the date for the Dorrian Birding Festival. Tickets are usually released in early May, and you're going to want to be in the first week of ticket release in order to secure one for yourself. And so in order for us to send you a little nudge, you could give us your email address. We will send you one thing into your inbox, and it will be the release date of the tickets for the Bird Festival. So feel free, if you click on this link that's circled in red, it will take you to a page where it tells you about the festival, and at the bottom, you can put in your email address and get a notice from us to remind you that the Dorrian Birding Festival is open for business. So here's my favorite warbler of the festival, the zipper bird, I like to call him, Northern Parula. Join us. We would love to see you. Thanks very much, Angie, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm excited now. I want to go there too. I want to go everywhere. And for those of you who might be thinking of going up there from Southern Ontario or the Toronto area, you can take Highway 11 too. It's really not any longer. And you could stop at the Hilliardton Marsh on the way by, and you could stop at my place and we'll go birding and on the way by. It would be cool. So does anybody have questions about any of these events or things you really want to know?
Can I, it's Bruce Murphy here. Can I butt in?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to hire Rachel right away if we ever could. And it's amazing. Like, it's the same weekend that we get our big burst of migrants going through. So now I a couple of questions for you, Rachel. You said you're I just missed, you're hired by the Thunder Bay,
the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority.
Okay, so I'm just curious about where did, like, so I know there's 2 banding stations in Thunder Bay itself. There's Thunder Cape Bird Observatory, which is on Sibley Point, I guess it is. Is that what's called?
Sibley Peninsula or Sleeping Giant? Yes.
Yes, and there's also the McKellar Island Bird Observatory.
Mission Island, yes.
Yes.
McKellar Mission.
Yes. So why is the, like, it's And I was a junior ranger, like way back in the day, and we went to Dorian. I think it's Wolf Creek. Is that where the rapids are?
Well, the Wolf River is there. Yes.
Well, is that where north of Dorian? Is that where the so
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Yep.
so I
Mhm.
swam in there. We got so many like leeches. It was incredible, which we didn't mind. It was like they were pretty cool. But I'm just curious, like where did with all that action happening right in Thunder Bay, where did the Dorian experience come from? And further question is why is there not a banding station there?
Oh, fascinating. So probably there isn't a banding station there because our main banding station is Thunder Cape.
Right.
Thunder Cape is difficult to get to.
Yeah.
If you go there, it's
Dorian be
magic.
easy to get to, right? And you
So,
said you got stuff across the lake, which I'm curious about. Like, how do you know they came across the lake?
so we do have I'm gonna blank on the word.
Modus Tower?
Modus Tower.
Nice.
And yep. And so birds have been backpacked,
Nice.
and we have had tracking of birds over the lake.
Nice.
It's a small program, but
Yeah.
it's an exciting one.
Okay. So
Yes. So bird banding stations haven't been involved in the other than as guest speakers at the festival.
yep. The modus
It
is
was
cool though.
yeah, and super interesting to hear your presentation, Bruce, about how the two are woven together. I think that's super cool.
Do we
Um,
do you want to take Rachel, do you want to take a moment to like maybe not everybody knows what modus is about? You might want to
Oh, yeah, sure. So, you probably know more, Bruce. But my understanding of Modus is if you can imagine cell phone towers, um, these are towers that send out signals. And when a bird is banded, if they're part of the Modus program, they get a teeny tiny, light little backpack that's put on them that communicates as the bird flies. It sends a ping out to the tower, and that information is collected, and you can follow individual bird flight paths along their migration. So we have a tower, we have a program that's started and stopped a few times, but yeah, that's exciting news too.
perfect.
Mhm.
And if we can ever get the funds and you get tired, we are going to hire you.
Okay.
I'd also say the same about well, pretty much everyone that talked tonight will like love everybody at the march.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. No, that's great. I'm so impressed that because I know Dorian, it's a very tiny community, and
Mhm.
you folks have a festival there, which is so awesome. It's like you guys are doing, it's amazing. I'm super impressed, and it's very cool, and it's so cool. It's the same weekend that everything goes through the boreal forest.
Yes, it is cool. Thanks for saying so, Bruce. And I, it's inspiring because if you're in a small town and you're passionate about birds, you could be like these folks in Dorian, right? You can start your own festival. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool.
Because we don't have a flyway. That's my excuse. That's my story.
Mm.
I'm not a
Yeah, but
flyway.
Angie, you have blackback woodpeckers, though. That's
I
pretty
do, and three-toed, and
three-toed.
yeah,
Yeah.
both of those.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can come here for those too.
yeah.
Ah, nice.
But I have 100 redpolls at my feeder, so there you go. All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you very much to everybody for coming, and to Mira, Nora, Bruce, and Rachel for presenting and sharing your events and your locations with us, because boy, it's nice to think about birding in spring, and people might be planning their vacations now. So there you go. This was recorded and it will be up on the OFO YouTube channel at some point. It might take a while to get it there, but it will be there if you want to review it. And we'll see you in the fall.
Awesome.
For
Thanks,
our
Angie.
meetings.
Thanks so
Have
much,
a good
Angie.
night, everybody.
Good
Thank
night,
you
everyone.
for coming.
Inviting us.
Good night.
Good night.
I have to stop the recording. There it is.